What's up, everybody? HellaBass Live, brought to you on a Thursday night this week. What's going on? Brought to you by Arsenal Fishing. We will have dream catchers on very shortly to talk swimbait fishing. Austin Neary, but in the meantime, I got a couple friends to bring on tonight to talk about a few things. What's up, Aaron and Brian? What's going on?
Hello.
What's up, Rich?
What's going on, everybody in the live chat? So Aaron and Brian are on and wanted to talk about something special going on this weekend that they got going on. A little bit of a fundraiser for St. Jude. I don't know, Aaron, can you tell us about the event? Or I guess maybe just tell us about St. Jude and the tournament and what you got going on this weekend.
Yeah, so me and Brian, we've been fishing the St. Jude, Dick Hiley St. Jude for the last 12, 13 years. And we like to raise money for it. It's a great cause. So we're throwing, it's called a spring fling this Saturday from 11 to 2 at my office, 5151 Edina Industrial Boulevard, Edina, Minnesota. So you can bring your kids. There'll be popcorn, free snow cones. We'll have some games. They can win some prizes. There'll be food. We're getting Chick-fil-A. We'll probably order some pizzas up. Yeah, there'll be lemonade, drinks. So it'll be fun for everyone. And you can go on our website right there and donate, or you can donate when you get there. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, so it's in Edina. It's in an office building, so even though
it's in an office building.
The weather is not going to be amazing this weekend to be outside, so this is probably a good thing. You want to get out of the house, take the kids, do something fun, play basically carnival games, and do some stuff like that. And
yep, exactly.
You can throw a few bucks in the cookie jar for St. Jude's. So why do you? I guess maybe for those that aren't familiar with St. Jude's, just give us like the Dick Hiley tournament. Like what last year they raised, I think $750,000 in a single fishing tournament. And where does that money all go for St. Jude?
Yeah, I could jump in and take away on that. So we've done it, like Aaron said, for 13 years. I think I've done it for 15 years. And the tournament itself is probably, I would say, the best, most well-run tournament in the state that I've seen. They have a huge staff that assists with everything. Gretchen, she's kind of the director. She helps with everything. She helps us. The tournament entirely is, it's fully focused on raising funds for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 100% of all the donations and proceeds from this event go to that hospital. So they're going to take, whatever, we're going to have, 80 teams, right? So 160 guys and women that are going to raise funds for this tournament. And what those funds are going to do, it's all going to go to the hospital. And what they do is they help us through the whole process. I mean, the tournament itself being for the kids at St. Jude, it's pretty incredible. I mean, from the tournament itself to the event leading up to the tournament, the night before we'll have dinner, and they'll actually bring a family in from the hospital with their kid, and they'll actually speak on behalf of their testimony, if you will, and in front of all of us. And it's very powerful and very moving, and it really touched Aaron and I a long time ago. And then I can't remember what year it was, Aaron. What was it, like 5 years ago?
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
We actually, just due to us, doing the event for quite some time now, they actually asked us if we wanted to go down to the hospital. And that experience was like incredible. It like legitimately changed my life. It's a very powerful place. I encourage you to research the company more and more. You see them all over the place, commercials and everything, and kind of what you see on the commercials where everybody's laughing and having fun. That's like exactly what it is. It's cool. So Aaron and I have had the pleasure and opportunity to fish this tournament for a long time. It's incredibly well ran, like I said, and super competitive. there is payouts for the event. They're super lucrative. So it's really fun. Plus Aaron and I love the river, and it's just a win all the way across the board. So.
Yep. And
Right
if you
on.
can't make the event, go on and donate. Every little bit helps. Doesn't matter if it's $5 or $100. It all adds up.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I know I'm going to plan to take my youngest Saturday, hang out for a little bit. I think I already made a donation on here, but if anybody wants to, I'll drop a link.
Thank you, Rich.
No problem. So if you can't make it, if you got $1, if you got $5 to help out St. Jude's, this is a worthy cause. I'm pretty sure this is one of the charities where it actually does pretty much all go to where it's supposed to go. So it's one that you can feel good about throwing a few dollars to. So, but yeah, so it's a great event. I've watched the weigh-in a few times, talked to a bunch of people. I tried to get a partner together to go fishing now, but maybe the tournament is getting moved to the fall because of the high water on the river. So, and we will get to talking to Swimbaits here in about 8 minutes here. So those that came for just Swimbaits and didn't want to hear about St. Jude will be there in just a few minutes. So, but yeah, so I think it's a great cause. Maybe I will end up even fishing it this fall, but just wanted to, if you live in the cities, consider going to the event. Link in here in the description. I'll put it in the video comments and description if you're watching this in the replay later and you want to check it out, or if you feel like dropping a few dollars, that's awesome too. Are you guys going to finally win it this year or what?
Sure.
I hope so.
Sure. Hope so. It'll be fun fishing it in October. Be totally different, different fish doing different things. And normally every year we fish it, they're always, it's either pre-spawn or spawn. So it'll be totally different. It'll be fun, kind of everybody will be on the same playing field, hopefully.
River rats will probably still kick our butts.
But... Yeah, for sure. For sure they will.
And I guess one other thing this weekend, I got Brian here, and full disclosure, Aaron and Brian are both in my bass club. Known these guys forever, good friends. But the InTune Demo Day is Sunday. What, 10 to 3?
Yes, sir.
Fletcher's. Spots are starting to fill up. Only one person riding the CX20 at this point. So how do people get in the Slamus to go for a ride with me? What's the process? Bangers?
So we're going to be open tomorrow and Saturday. So that's your opportunity to give us a call. Look through this list. Whatever boat you want to drive, you can drive all of them if you'd like. We'll have boat drivers, obviously driving all the boats. You can hop in whatever model. So multiple times. If you want to book 2 hours in a CX20, you're absolutely able to do that. This is the largest gathering of these 3 brands and the pontoon brands that we have all in one spot, to my knowledge, in the Midwest. So we actually have people. I have a customer flying in from Illinois. We have a person coming from Iowa, Wisconsin. So anywhere within the Midwest, this is your opportunity. If you're ever wondering, Camas, Phoenix, or Vexus, this is your opportunity because you can go on the water in all of them in one place at one time, which is pretty unheard of.
Yeah. And so aluminum, fiberglass, multi-species, pontoon, just about anything you'd want to get your hands on. And if you don't want to go for a ride, you can just stop at the docks and look in the compartments and talk to the boat drivers. And there's, I don't know, free food, right?
Yeah. So obviously we don't have awesome weather on Sunday, but we're still rolling. You know what I mean? We're fishermen. We're out there. It's going to be 50 degrees. It's going to be cloudy, whatever. 50 degrees is fine. We actually have rented an indoor area at Lord Fletcher's like we always do. And we're going to have a huge catered buffet. So you can go inside there and eat and warm up for a minute before you go on your next ride. We're going to have all the industry reps there from Camas, Phoenix, and Vexus, Sylvan Pontoons, Bentley Pontoons. So it's going to be a great time. So it always is.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, cool, guys. Anything else? We good?
No.
I think Banger said he was going to have a pickle jar there to donate to the St. Jude. Did he say that, Rich?
I don't think so, but I think you just did.
We'll figure it out. We appreciate it, Rich. Thank you for everything. And anybody who's participates at the demo event, thank you. And anybody who donates to St. Jude, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you.
See you, Rich.
See ya.
Yeah, well, thanks. That was awesome. And now for the main course tonight.
Oh,
What's
we're
going
live.
on, mister? I didn't give you much warning here. What's up,
Dude,
Austin?
that is totally okay. I found this in a pawn shop today. I've got no idea what it is.
You're not sure what swimbait it is?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I know what it is. It's a Hinkle
Yeah.
Shad, baby.
Did you really get it in a pawn shop, or are you just playing with your toys?
No, I just hanging out in the shop all the time and having so many little sneaky squirrel swim baits. I had a fella, really good friend of mine. He said, "Hey man, I'm like really looking for one of these baits, and I'm specifically, I can't tell you what it is, but I had 2 of them, and Hinkle Shads are pretty expensive, and I needed a backup one. I've been smashing giant fish lately on them. I don't know. Some of your viewers might follow Ben Milliken. He's a really good friend of mine. I just got back from Texas with him just a couple weeks ago, right before he ended up winning at Toledo. But anyways, we went down there and absolutely smashed him on a Hinkle Shad, and we've been catching them pretty good in the mountains for a while on it. But I'm like, I probably need a backup one, but I don't know if you've seen what they're eBaying for. They're going for like $4 million. So
that's it. Well, I mean, with the way Dreamcatchers is going, that's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, well, exactly right. I wish. No, but I had a couple of the baits, and he had 3 Hinkle Shads, and I can't tell you who he is because people will absolutely blow him up. So he said, "Man, I only need 2." So he's like, "I'll trade you one of mine for 2 of those sexy baits." And I said, "Deal." So that's what I did. And then I'm not a huge fan of these side fins right here, or even these pubic fins up under it, because what'll happen is, and I don't have treble hooks on this one because the hooks that were on it were pretty trash, but
like stick.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. The fins, they protrude. I don't know if you can kind of see how they protrude off the side of that bait. So what'll happen is those treble hooks will end up grabbing those fins. So I'm actually taking a razor, which some people, listen, a lot of people take these baits and just rub them on their genitals. I actually like to fish with them. So, for some people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're hurting the fins. You're ruining the fins." And if you lose one, are you swimming for it? The answer is absolutely yes.
How deep will you swim for it?
So I actually, when I first started throwing big baits, one of my first big expensive swim baits was at OG Depths 250. And one of my buddies was standing behind me. And you know how you cast big swim baits, you kind of like lob them. Yeah. A lot of guys watch Butch Brown and just, a couple of these guys just yeet them over the shoulder. I think they're a bunch of morons. But you can just lob them like that. Well, he was standing behind me with his rod tip down, and it got wrapped around his rod tip, broke his rod, snapped my Depths 250 off, landed in 11 foot of water. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I got to get this bait. I got to get this bait." Well, no joke. The lady comes out and's like, "I have some goggles if you want to find it." And literally, so it was about 12 foot of water, which, by the way, swimming isn't a strong suit of mine. I wouldn't say I'm a great swimmer, but it took me about 30 minutes. I found the bait. Thankfully, it was pretty clear water it was in. But
yeah, I got to imagine that like a glide bait probably doesn't just go like this. Probably
no, it does. Well, it depends. No, that's not how they sink either. They literally just most of them just sink just straight up and down, just like this.
So, but it does stay. You don't have to worry about it like gliding off 6 feet to the left or.
Yeah, no, they don't do that. Most of them just sink. Now, actually, like a bullet, if you had one with like a bullet weight and a slender profile, and maybe if you didn't have it hooked right, it would kind of twist down, falling. Sure. But no, most glide baits, they're tuned to sink at a sink rate about like that. But what I do with most of my baits, because I fish a lot of highland reservoirs here in Western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, North Georgia. We do either wrap weight around the front treble hook or on the Depths 250s. It's that silicone skin. So they actually have pockets on their chest that you can add more weight. So I like to weight mine. So mine sink really fast. So if I throw them, if they like break off, they're sinking quick. So it's part of that deal. Just part of it, but thankfully I've only ever lost this is going to sound absurd. I've only ever lost one big hard bait. I have broke some hard baits, but as far as losing, like I've only lost one. So ever. And in like 10 years of guiding and about 12 years of big bait fishing. So not terrible.
Not bad at all. That's cool.
No. So, dude, are you unthawed up there yet?
We did. So yeah, the ice right by me officially went out, I think April 14th.
So yeah, just a few days ago.
Yeah.
And they're already on beds.
Not quite. No.
No, I'm kidding.
But actually, like 2 hours north of me, there's still ice.
Jeez, that I couldn't do it, man. It sounds like you need to move. You and all your northern Midwestern homies need to move to the south.
Yeah, I think Nick, right? Is ice still up by you, Nick? A few other people in northern Minnesota that come in the chat. Is there still ice up there? I think there is.
I don't know what I would do. I remember when I lived in Maryland, I used to get like winter fever really bad. Like I got to get on the water. I'd freak out. I'd have bad attitudes. I'd get the shakes. I probably look similar if you ever drive down like one of the back roads in Baltimore and see someone like cracked out. That's probably what I look like when I don't fish for a long time.
Nick and Man on a Mission, both up in the Brainerd area. Greg, which is probably 2.5, 3 hours north of me. Lots of ice.
Yeah. Jeez. I couldn't do it, dude. I couldn't do it.
I drove 3 hours south to go fishing because the bass season isn't open in Minnesota. And the river, I go to the river, it's closer, but the river is like above flood stage right now. So it's really kind of
Oh, really?
You'd have to try to launch your bass boat off the highway or something, which is not ideal.
That's purely because of ice melt is why it's flooded.
Early rains and ice melt. Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me.
So went down to Iowa, drove 3 hours to fish for 8, and then left at like 6 in the morning, got home at like 10:30 at night and fished for like 8 hours.
Hey, I've met a fella. He's fishing on the EQs, and he's a hammer in Iowa, and he guides for whitetail in the fall. He's got long hair.
You're not talking about Ben, not Ben's buddy, is it?
Yeah, it's Ben's buddy. I'm trying to think of his name. Love him, dude. I
fished against him quite a few times in the Bass Nation.
Dude, I hung out with him. Yes.
AJ knows him. He's in Nebraska. What's his Brock?
No, so it's not Brock.
Not Brock Bielik?
It's not Brock. No, I hung out with Brock. There's another fella. I'm hating that I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he was freaking awesome. But he's from Iowa, and I'm a big time deer hunter, and I'm like, oh, dude, talking deer hunting with him. And anyways, it was a good old time. We had a big throwdown shindig there at Toledo Bend after Benny absolutely ran away with the competition. So
yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was, dude. When I was down there in Texas, we fished a certain lake, which I'm not going to mention, but we fished a certain lake not super far from Toledo Bend. And
was this the live poke lake?
Yes, this was the lake where the live poke was first introduced to the humans. We invented it somewhere in outer space, brought it down to our homie that just totally hole jumped us. But yeah, we were fishing this lake, and I'm familiar. I had never been on Toledo Bend, but I'm like, I've seen Toledo Bend. I've seen, the watercolor and stuff. I'm like, golly, this place like sets up exactly like it. He's like, yeah, he'd never been on Toledo Bend before. And I'm like, yeah, you like your chances, and he's like, not really, just like a tournament guy. You're just like, well, right. There's 220 dudes in the field, and, someone's probably going to find them better than me. But he is so dialed into that big gizzard shad bite. And I was like, man, if there was one that I was going to pick you to win, I said it'd probably be Toledo Bend. And sure enough, I mean, he just absolutely ran away with it, dude. What a freaking tournament. I was so pumped up. I was actually, he's a good friend of mine. We were talking before it, and then I talked to him in the evening and in the morning before the deal. And then I talked to Cole after day 2, and Cole's like, dude, he's got another mega bag. And I just was like, I'm getting down there and booking a flight. So went down there to hang out and experience that with him, man. Just super stoked. And man, I'll tell you, he's Ben Milliken is a special dude one, because of how dedicated he is. I've never met, listen, dude, like I'm a guide. I've loved to fish since I was a little boy. Ben loves fishing more than me. And I'm okay to say, like, he loves it. Let me tell you something, dude. He loves it more than you. There's nobody I've ever met that, dude, I'm not going to mention certain podcasts, but there's certain podcasts that just like are not great. And he's like, fishing podcasts, and he's like, I'm eating it up. I'm like, dude, can we like turn to like put on some Theo Vaughn or some Rogan or something, dude? And he's like, no, I got to listen to this. And I'm like, they're not even talking about anything great. And he just soaks up everything fishing. It's amazing. And anyways, but like I said, he knows his deal with the big swim baits, dude. And a lot of that comes down to just a lot of time in Texas, a lot of time chasing around those caliber fish that are doing that. And, you know, as a guide, I always tell people, and, you know, we own a tackle shop, Dream Catchers Fishing Supply. Mm-hmm. We sold, you know, I mean, we literally sold probably 20, 30 swim baits today out of the shop. But so many guys think it's like I either got to just commit to it or not. And that is just not the deal. Like if you're trophy hunting, if you're wanting to trophy hunt, that's totally how you have to approach it. You have to say, I'm going to lock this SOB in my hand and I'm going to fish with it all the time. But the reality is, as a tournament swim bait guy, dude, it is a tool in a toolbox. I fished a tournament this past week. I didn't do great. Had the chance, I think, maybe not to win it, but really tickling the wind. I broke off on 2 giant smallmouth 4+ pounders. Then I jumped off a 5-pound largemouth on a mega bass +1. And but the deal was, dude, you got to know when to pick it up and you got to know when to put it down. And it's a tool in a toolbox, man. I think so many guys, you know, they see the followers, and I'm telling you, forward-facing sonar and swim baiting has like even made your brain that much more like knotted up, because naturally when you're fishing a big glide bait or a big soft bait, whatever, you're going to see followers if you're reeling it underneath the surface. But forward-facing sonar now, you're like, holy cow, there's like a thumb-sized blob on my screen, and I know it's a bass, and they'll follow it. And you just kind of you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to catch one of these fish. But you really have to understand, like, you can read their body language pretty quick and know whether they're going to go for it or they're not going to go for it. And then you've got to back up and punt and say, hey, I want to conventionally fish, you know, and maybe here in an hour or two, or maybe I pull up to my next spot, you know, and try it. But a lot of guys, it's for so long, you know, like I love Carl Jacobson. I've talked to Carl a couple times, and a couple guys, and they're just like, I'm going to force feed this son of a gun until they freaking eat it. And listen, dude, as a guide and as a trophy hunter, I'm like, I like the mentality, bro. Do it to it. But the reality is, as a tournament guy, there are certain times where you just literally have to be like, hey, I just need to get, you know, 2 or 3 3-pounders in the box, you know, or a limit, and then I can start throwing the hammer and trying to make magic. So,
yeah,
you know.
I was actually, so I watched last night. I was had to do some things late, and I didn't feel like editing or anything like that. So I actually watched Ben's practice video, and then I watched his day 1 video. I think day 2 came out tonight, but I didn't have time to watch it before we went live. But you can see in the tournament video, if you're watching and pay attention, that he was alternating the Carolina rig and he was testing the glide baits.
I can show you text messages from pre-fish where he said, I cannot get bit on a big bait. I don't know what the deal is. I'm catching them on a Carolina rig. I can show you those text messages.
Yeah. So in practice, he never showed or caught a swim bait. He talked about not getting bit, and then he tested it in the tournament after he had, I don't know, 17, 18 pounds on his Carolina rig and caught some good ones. But even after he got bit on the glide bait, he still went back to the Carolina rig several times. If you're watching the tournament. So I think he showcased really smart use of picking it up and putting it down. And I think even if you listen to some of his interviews afterwards, he didn't ever lead with the swim bait on these points because he'd be worried that he'd pull the fish off the points and ruin them.
So, dude, that was another thing that I was 100% going to talk about, was you can tell pretty quick based on how they're set up. And let me say this, it's obviously different from Texas as it is at Lake Hartwell, as it is to Lake Oahe, it is in the Potomac River, as it is all the way out in Clear Lake. Like, fish will set up different on different bait forages. So the more dialed in you are, I say, with your forward-facing sonar, you can you can look at how a fish is positioned or how active they are or swimming around or whatever they're doing and say, hey, that is an aggressive fish that's like in a feeding mode. And you can push the envelope saying, I want to go with the big bait first and try to get the big fish out of the school. But 100% agree with you. A lot of times, you know, you can approach it subtly, which, you know, he was doing the Carolina rig deal the other day, you know, with me, you know, a big smallmouth, love a dang Ned rig. I was using I think it's like a big TRD or whatever, but same kind of deal. I'm like, I'm going to start with these smallmouth piddling around because I know they'll eat this. And I see some giant blobs down there. But the thing is, I don't, God forbid, I pull the whole school, all the smallmouth and all the big largemouth to me. And then they're up under my boat. And I tell them, they get what I call cheese headed. Like, you ever eaten so much mac and cheese? You're just like, oh gosh, like, or so much pizza. It's like, you're just like, I don't want any more. I can't, I'm going to die. You know, they do the same thing when they chase these glide baits, just that motion, that big bait, their lateral line's going crazy. Their senses are super heightened. And it's just like, it's like hitting a freaking weed, man. You're just like, they're like, whoa, what is that? And then all of a sudden they're like, I don't even want to eat. In fact, this is no joke. I was driving Sago around, the cameraman for bass. And, this was at Lake Lanier when Paul Mueller won, and Chris Zaldane was having a really good tournament. And anyways, Chris is paralleling this bluff wall on Lanier, and this giant spot's following his bait. And he picks a swim bait up real quick, turns around and picks up a methylate worm, dude. And he flips it in there, and guess what happens?
Smoked it.
No, nothing.
Opposite.
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened. And I said, have you ever had that work? And he said, I've never had it work. I just always think one day it might work. Because all those fish, man, they get so locked into that big swim bait. They get so dialed into that thing swimming. And then they're just like, what was that? Is there, you know, and they just get, like I said, they get cheese headed and, like guys from Wisconsin, the cheese heads. But, you know, it's really hard to follow up those fish. A lot of times you literally have to leave those fish and then come back to those fish. And, you know, it's very, very similar to spotted bass fishing or brush pile fishing. Like in the Carolinas in the summertime, you usually can take a cane walker, you shine your forward facing. It didn't matter before forward facing or not. If you just had a waypoint with brush on it, you knew you could throw a cane walker over a brush pile. One would come up and eat it. The whole school would follow it because you'd see them literally trying to eat it out of their mouth. They'd go up under your 2D sonar. You may or may not catch another one. You probably not. And you honestly, you catch one fish or you make one or two casts, catch one or get a couple blowups, and then they all follow your bait to the boat and you just go on to the next deal. That's a lot of what it's like big swim bait. And it's like, if you're going to do that, you better run and gun at a really fast pace. You forgot to trip your trebles with some sharp cheddar. That's the juice. Heck yeah, man. Put some of that, I don't know. You can put some of that. Well, I tell you the truth, just rub it in the top of your butt crack if it's a real hot day and smell just like a gizzard shad.
Yeah, I think the only time that it works to fire fish up with a swim bait is on a bed, but that's a totally different thing. So,
oh yeah, totally different fishing. But have you done that before?
A little bit with like smaller bluegill baits in Minnesota. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. A lot of times, dude, and a lot of people haven't tried this. And don't get me wrong, it's I would say it's frowned upon because a lot of times you're not going to hook that bed fish in the mouth. But a lot of times if you can't get a big female, if she's away from the bed and the male's pinned down on the bed, a lot of times when you throw a big glide bait on the bed, the male will hit it a couple times, but he's like, I don't know what you want me to do with this. This thing's freaking huge. And it draws that female. If she's like not pinning down at all, dude, I'd say 80% of the time she'll come down and try to take care of business. And, you know, sometimes you hook them in the mouth and sometimes you don't. Obviously, bed fishing, it's, you know, to be legal, it has to be inside the mouth. So heck yeah, I do use live poke. I'm going to be poking all of them. I'm going to be
Speak of the devil. We were just talking about that guy.
Oh, is he on right now?
Unless it's an imposter.
No doubt, dude. That's my guy. That's old Benzel. Oh shoot. I thought he needs to get some rest. You need to get some rest, hero.
Nice. Well, if that is, congrats, Ben.
Yeah, no
it's his
doubt.
burner. It's his Facebook burner account. He can't be seen
doubt.
on his YouTube account, so he's got to use his Facebook account.
Absolutely. I got some other things that I might show some text messages and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
See if it really is a burner account or not.
Yeah. Can you ask questions that only you can answer and you can verify, and we can
exactly,
two-step authenticate this Facebook account.
That's exactly right, man.
Nice. Yeah, I think a lot of the guys that, like, if you're doing a tournament, typically don't put a hook in that swim bait. Like, they'll throw a hookless glide bait if they're in a bed situation where you're trying to like fire a fish up so you don't foul hook it somehow.
Yeah.
But
the other thing would be to, with a specifically like a big soft bait, to make sure it's a single hook that's, sticking out of the back of it and they're actually inhaling that thing. I'll tell you a great bait that I've had success with was a bait that Oliver turned me on to, was that Defiant. Because that Defiant, the heavier Defiant has that heavy weight in the chest, and it'll sit perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical in that bed with that big jig hook sticking out of the back. And a lot of times they'll go and they'll just flush the whole thing after it pisses them off enough. And it sinks fast enough where you can kind of bump them in their side. And dude, they just get wigged out with that big bait, period. So they'll end up inhaling it. So a big single hook, you could use a HUD 68, like a top hook HUD 68. That would kind of be the deal. But I mean, if you want to be just like Miguel Long, I mean, just freaking use a treble hook and screw.
Why put a swim bait on? Why put a swim bait on the hook? I mean,
yeah, exactly right. You want a little swim bait with that treble hook? Nah. Oh,
that's just gonna reduce your hookup ratio.
Yeah, or you could just take a live bluegill like the guy did in Japan and just catch it like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's even more sporting. I'm not above it, dude. I'm from Western North Carolina, where everybody's neck is red. Okay, like we fight chickens for side money,
Nice. I mean, if you legit saw what you thought was a 24-pound bass on a bed that you couldn't get to eat anything else, and you thought you could get it to eat, and it was legal, right?
It would eat a spear. I would spearfish that. So
I was gonna say, like, you couldn't certify IGFA if you spear it, but obviously live bait. If it's legal in your state to use a bluegill or something, then so.
Look, you're talking to somebody who's an anarchist, man. This is what I tell people: if you can sleep at night, go for it. I'm kidding. That's terrible. Obey your laws, people. Obey your laws. Everybody loves the government, right? Oh my goodness.
Nice.
So, dude, tell me about it. What kind of swim baits are you throwing? I want to know what kind of swim baits you're chucking up there.
Well, I just got a new swim bait. So I'll be honest, I think I admitted this last time. I've only caught a handful of fish on swim baits. So yeah, back to what we're talking about, right? Like the tournament guy, I am much more like prone to, I don't fish enough. I need to go out and fish more so that I have more time to but I think you talked about, like, in a tournament, you got to know when to pick it up, when to put it down.
Totally.
But I do think in the learning process, you kind of need to be a little more stubborn and be more hard-headed and throw it more just to get your reps in.
Dude, well, so listen, you say that, and I'm going to cut you off here for a second. I'm sorry. But as a guide, I'm constantly guiding people. I take so many people who just want to catch fish. So it's doing the shaky head thing. It's doing the Ned rig thing. It's doing the drop shot thing. It's doing the wacky rig thing. It's doing the Nico rig thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I just, when I go, or even when I guide them, I'm like, hey, you're just going to do this and you're going to catch a bunch of 2-pounders, occasional 3, maybe if we're lucky, we catch a 6 or a 7, but I'm pretty much just going to throw this all day and just watch what's going on and everything. Right. So that is hilarious. Yes. Crime rate probably will rise 30%. I'm just going by my alias Frostin', but I'm throwing these baits a ton. And like you said, dude, getting reps and getting those reps when I'm on the water 300 times a year, dude, that's a lot of reps. Me just kind of piddling around, watching forward facing sonar on the front of the boat and, seeing how fish react to those things. So, great point. Just to reiterate what you were saying.
So I need to spend some time throwing swim baits and not worry about whether, when I'm not in a tournament, when I'm not pre-fishing, and not worry about whether I'm making a video that day, because it seems like the pressure of making content usually gets the better of me, and then I end up catching a jig or a jerk bait or something.
Yeah.
But I did. So at the Classic, I did pick up the
Hey,
shad.
cool, man. Why? How did I miss you at the Classic?
Because you didn't answer your DMs because you were busy looking at bait.
I think you're actually right. I'm sorry. Dude, that thing's hot. I want one.
Yeah.
You got that on day one.
My understanding, this is probably what we would say Buka's answer to the Chad, kind of a choppy style wake,
it's
right?
More of a choppy style glide for sure. And absolutely a tournament style bait. I think any bait that has that very tight action, if you think about the baits that absolutely get ripped by bass, you think about a jerk bait, a walking bait, just anything that has that very, side, showing you its side profile, dude, it gets bit. So that chop style glide, and this is also, I'm a big fan of the Clash, the DRT baits, the Clash 9, the Tiny Clash, because, I wish I had one for whatever reason. I don't have one with me right now. But they just show you that whole side profile every time they turn, and it just allows that fish to, triangulate that strike a little better and get them. So that's exactly what that is. But
I did so when I was out fishing Sunday, the water temps were like 43 degrees. So it was probably, so I've never, but I threw it a little bit just to see what it was like, just to kind of play with it.
What length is that?
So this is a 6, 7.
I tell my wife that's 9.
Yeah. It's with so hard bar to the body is 6. With the tail, it's probably 7 3/8.
Remember, always add 2 inches to impress her.
But so in your opinion, the chop style, which you typically work a little faster, what obviously rules are made to be broken in fishing, but what type of water would you typically say is when the chop style really gets going?
So I would say when they're eating a jerk bait, so if they're eating a suspended jerk bait, they'll absolutely smash a glide bait or chop style bait because it's very similar action, right? And I think a lot of guys, when they're thinking about fishing, they don't kind of line up seasonal patterns with seasonal baits. Like what's a really good bait from 43-degree water to 60-degree water? A jerk bait, right? So, so what does a jerk bait do? It goes like this.
Right.
It's that side. Well, guess what else does that? Dude, a freaking big glide bait. So it's very similar. And I think a lot of it would be because so many people, once they are throwing these swim baits, dude, who doesn't love watching a strike? Who doesn't love watching the beauty of a glide bait go back and forth? But you got to take it and kind of put it out of your mind and say, hey, I want to get this thing in a little bit deeper water, and I want to use it just like a jerk bait and get that thing where it's going, whoom, 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 just like a jerk bait. I mean, it's so similar. Just like, okay, in the dead of winter when it's really cold and you're like, all right, I've got to drag a jig, right? So what's big swim baits are similar to dragging a jig? A Huddleston, a Defiant, a big soft bait. In the summertime when they're smashing top waters, that top waters that are flying across the, with serpentine actions or whatever, that's when you break out your multi-segmented bull shads and triple trouts and herring style baits. And, the warmer the water temperature, the more aggressive the body language, the more action you want on your baits. Where the colder the water, the less aggressive, the less actions you want on your bait. So kind of as the water, when the water starts to warm, the action of my baits gets a little more wild, you could say. And I still catch a lot of fish on a glide bait in 80, 85, 90-degree water. It looks a little different, but that's the time when I'm breaking out a big top water rat or an MS Slammer, just some kind of wake bait, the DRT Joker, and just, a big wake bait on top. Or, whenever you're throwing top water, just think, okay, I'm just going to upsize my presentation to a bigger top water style bait. Or if it's colder, I want to, golly, they're hitting my jerk bait with a 4 or 5 second pause. All right, just add a 4 or 5 second, sink that glide bait down. And, once again, these things sink you can get them to wait, and you got to be a little patient with them, but they sink relatively slow. They act a lot like a suspending jerk bait. So you can take those things, throw them out there. It's that same style actions, jerk, jerk, and that thing's going shoom, 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 and just hanging out.
So I was wondering, like, but do you think you would even use the chop style versus a more traditional glide when it's cold like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I would even say the chop style bait is so unique because, okay, think about why bass strike. They strike for 3 reasons, right? Let's see if I can remember all of them. A change in speed, a change in sink rate, or a change in direction. All right. So if you think about why a bass feeds, period, it's a change in speed, a change in sink rate, a change in direction. Okay. So check this out. A chopper glide is so unique because every action it has is a very sharp action. Like even think about when you burn a chopper glide, it's very like, where like a traditional glide bait's more of that like long slalom. Do you know what I'm saying? So that chopper glide to me is kind of starting to be even more introduced into like, man, this is more of a tournament style swim bait purely because it creates so many reaction strikes because it's that sharp change of direction. This is why the DRT is such a ridiculously great bait, by the way. Whether you're in crank mode or glide mode, it's such a freaking sharp action, and that is what creates a bite. And this plays in. Let me tell you something. I'm a really big fan. I know a lot of guys, when it's really tough, they like to go lighter on their jigs, and their jig will fall really slow.
Right.
I have noticed, I've tried this. I've got a decade, 300 trips for a decade on the water, 3,000 trips under my belt. Sometimes I'll actually go to a 5/8 ounce jig or a 3/4 ounce jig when it's tough. Because I'm at this point, if they're just going to be tough, the only way they're going to feed a lot of times is a reaction strike. So instead of going with this slow jig, this 3/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce, where it's like, sometimes a jig sinking like that in front of their face, they turn and eat because it, once again, just like that chopper glide, it's that quick, fast action, just like a heavy jig. It creates a reaction strike. So, I think it's one of those things you got to experiment. I will say this now. There's no one size fits all in swim baiting, just like there's no one size fits all from bait to bait to bait. I think sometimes you got to experiment with different actions. Sometimes they do want more of that slalom. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a river to sea, a $45 river to sea S waiver outfish a $300 OG Depths 250. I've seen a OG Depths 250 outfish $500 Hinkle. I've watched a triple trout outfish a bullshit. I've seen these baits, and for whatever reason, they just react to that action, that cadence of vibration, whatever it is, at a little different pace. So, it's good to maybe have a few different flavors, and maybe you get keyed into one of those where you're like, man, I'm noticing I'm getting way more followers on this bait than that bait. And then there's a feeding window and you're like, all right, I want to throw the bait that I got just more action on earlier. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, still a bit of a, like I was very much just playing around with it. I don't know. I mean, I fished for like 8 hours and had 5 bites on a jig and a chatterbait. So, I mean, it was definitely
grind.
It wasn't a day that I was feeling like compelled.
Let's go experiment instead of getting
experiment and see if we can get less bites. That'll be awesome.
Those days where you're getting a bite every hour and 45 minutes, those are the days that are tough. You're like, I think I'm probably just going to throw a Ned rig on. And listen, I tell guys this all the time, dude. One of the big things that I think separates, maybe a lot of the big swim bait guys is, one, some of the big swim bait guys are just crackheads. I'm just going to say it. They're like, I'm just throwing a big swim bait, and that's what they do, and that's fine. But the other thing is, dude, being on the water a ton affords you the ability to be able to burn some days trying things, right? Like my dad, who he does guide for us some. He's our general manager of Dreamcatchers Fishing. He doesn't really get to fish very often. He gets to fish maybe 2 or 3 times a month. So when he goes, he just wants to get bites, man. He just wants to feel the tug on the end of the line. If he catches a 4 or 5 pounder, he's tickled to death about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Guys that are working, Monday through Friday, and they get a day on the weekend and then a day with the family, the other day. I understand that, they're just wanting to get on the water and get some bites, but ultimately that really limits you as a fisherman, because you tend to always revert back to what's comfortable. And whether it's life or whether it's fishing, you can never grow in the comfort zone, right? Mm-hmm. You've always got to kind of push the envelope of your comfort zone, be willing to sacrifice, be willing to struggle, be willing to grind. And that's where you grow. Growth is in the grind. So, for someone like me, where it's like, dude, I'm on the water all the time. I can, like, I was out guiding someone the other day, and they were fishing and catching them. Oh, it was some boys on Chickamauga. They were throwing worms around and catching them. We were pre-fishing for a big high school tournament, and I threw that the entire time. And they're like, oh man, we're out fishing you. And I'm like, I'm not fishing really to catch fish. I'm trying to pre-fish for you guys and move a lot of big bass off of beds and under docks and take inventory of, where there's a majority of these fish. And the other thing is I don't really care. like I'm not, it's a big mentality. I get guys in the shop all the time. And don't get me wrong, I was here at one point too, but I get guys on the time and they're like, yeah, I'm just hoping I don't zero in a tournament. And I'm just like, oof, like that's not a great mentality to have. Or like, I'm just hoping to catch 5. I'm always like, for me, it's like, why don't you just try to super focus and I'm going to try to catch the biggest bag I can. It's a different mindset, because one is like, I'm almost limiting myself to where like the 5 fish limit is the best I can do. I'm just hoping I get 5, or like, I'm hoping I don't zero. It's like I'm not one of these huge guys that's like visualize it and it'll come to be, but I am one of these guys that like, man, if you like positive thinking, positive thoughts, and working hard and all these things, like it will benefit you. And instead of having that, I hope I don't zero, or I hope I get a limit, it's like, turn that shit off. And freaking, dude, just be like, hey, I'm going to try to target a different caliber of fish today. I'm going to try to get as many bites on those caliber of fish as possible. And that's it. It's a totally different mentality.
Yeah. I mean, if you miss the mark, hoping not to zero, there's not much upside.
Yeah, exactly right. There's that old saying I heard back in high school: dream of the star, or dream about space, and if you fall, you'll still land among the stars, or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's kind of true. Or aim for the moon, and if you fail, you still land in the stars. That's what it is. It's like, yeah, that's as cliche and stupid as that saying sounds as a 30-year-old man. It's true. It's like, hey, let me go out here and try to sack a mega bag. And dude, freaking, did you see what Polinick did today?
Yeah, I mean, he got some really nice ones I saw the ones he got on a big, like a jumbo jerkbait, right?
Yeah,
like
the Mega Bass Canada, but he only had 4. He had like 4 fish for 22 pounds.
He never got his 5th one? I didn't realize that.
Oh, dude, and guess how much you think he cares? I mean, obviously you want to catch 5, but he had 22.
Obviously he wanted to get a 5th one so he could have 27.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, he's freaking sitting in 8th place or whatever. He weighed in 4 fish. It's like he wasn't thinking about like, oh gosh, I need to catch a limit. He's like, I'm going out to sack big ones, and he even said that on stage, man. He's like, dude, I'm gonna freaking go out here and try to punch some big ones in the face. And I knew I might not catch. He said I knew I might not catch but a few of them, but I knew they were going to be huge. And anyways, I think that's the right mentality to have. I think so, dude. We can get philosophical here. Oh my gosh, we're about to get philosophical. Oh Lord.
I wish I had like a special sound alert for this, but
yeah. You need to put a sound alert. Dude, too many people play it safe with their life. That's actually the reality of the whole thing. There are so many people that just are scared to fail. They just end up playing it safe their whole life. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I understand it, but I think it's always rooted in fear. And when you are scared to fail, that means you lack faith. And if you lack faith, it's really, really hard to succeed. You have got to honestly just believe in yourself, believe in the process, and just go after it, man. So many people they just play it safe because they're scared. And man, it just honestly it gets you nowhere. I'll tell you, one of the biggest motivating factors of my life is, yeah, that's right. Do it, man. I mean, seriously, I'm a big believer in being an entrepreneur, but man, maybe Austin Aristotle. Thanks, dog. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my neck, bro. Austin Aristotle.
Neck tattoos are the best.
Oh, for sure, dude. That, and I need an NBA like kiss thing. I see a lot of the NBA guys got that kiss on their neck from their baby mama. What's up, shouty? But anyways, no, a lot of guys play it safe, dude. And I don't want to be the guy that lives with regrets. And I don't want people to live with regrets, man. I want people to freaking maximize their life, be the best them. I believe God put us all on earth to be extremely special with purpose and mission. And listen, dude, I have a family. I've got a child. My wife's pregnant with number 2. We're having a little girl. Like, I feel those same pressures. Yeah, thanks, man. I feel those same pressures to provide and do all these things. But man, I want to live my freaking life on my terms. I want to freaking go out and get after it. You know, I think everybody should. I think there's a lot of growth in that. Once again, you can't grow in the comfortable spaces. And if you're scared of failure, you're probably gluing your ass down to a comfortable chair somewhere. So, or throwing comfortable baits.
Yeah, I need the Minnesota season to not be closed, because I feel like when I drive for 3 hours to fish for 6, I want to catch fish.
Dude, maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe I'm inspiring.
Whereas if I could go after work every night for 3 nights a week, then I wouldn't care if I went out for a night and didn't catch fish. But
maybe I'm inspiring you to learn Spanish and move to Lake Baccarat in Mexico.
There you go.
Dude, think about it. Think about this life. You can literally make drugs with the cartel, make a buttload of money, and catch bass.
And put heroin inside of Hinkle Trouts and ship them to the United States.
Why do you think the fish eat them so good, bro?
I feel like this podcast is going to be on restricted mode on YouTube.
It probably will be. I'm kidding, YouTube. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, big brother. No, but speaking of missing out, man, you know, a lot of guys, and listen, there's a lot of guys that are desiring to be entrepreneurs in this industry. And you've had me on. Yes, hella crazy. You've had me on before, and we've talked entrepreneurship. We've talked about business and stuff. And, you know, I'm all about, I want to see people succeed. And I'm actually, you know, I think we talked briefly.
Are you delivering on the teaser?
I'm about to deliver this baby, dude. No labor pains, all baby. I had a coach tell me that one time. He said, "Neary, I don't want to hear your labor pains. I want to see the baby." So you're about to get the full delivery right here. But anyways, as an entrepreneur in the industry, as a fishing guide, I constantly get peppered with questions. Hey, man, I'm going fishing. Where should I go and what should I throw? And I'm always like, hey, dude, are you coming by the tackle shop? You support the tackle shop? No, don't have time. Hey, do you want a guide trip? No. You know, too expensive or no, whatever. Maybe I'm already booked up. Well, what we have created, or what I started doing, was I started selling tips. I just, like a father and son would be like, hey, I'm coming up. I have my own bass boat. What's working? And I'd be like, hey, man, this is how I provide for my family. This is my intellectual property. I've worked hard for this. So let me sell you a tip. So anyways, they would pay me, and I would create a text and screenshot some waypoints and start selling tips. Well, one of the dudes I did this with was a tech developer. His name's Adam Bloomston. He's a radically successful entrepreneur. He's the founder of the 3rd biggest payments platform in the world. But he's like, dude, why don't we make an app or some tech or a website around this? So we recently just launched Fish Tips for guides and highly dialed in anglers to be able to sell in-depth fishing reports. So when I get people that are constantly messaging me, hey, man, I want to go out on the lake. I've got my own boat, whatever, what's the deal? Or I've never been to this lake before. I can literally say, hey, man, fish have been biting on secondary points, and lay out a couple baits, talk about the colors of the baits, why I'm throwing these baits, drop, 14, 15 waypoints or areas like the back of this pocket or this point, whatever, and really help these guys go and have success. I know a lot of guys are like, or not a lot of guys, but some guys are like, that just sounds weird. But think about this from a guide perspective. The only way I can make money is how?
Spending a day on the water, booking a trip.
That's exactly right. My earning potential is limited, and I can still service people with my intellectual property, my hard work, the years of skin cancer I've given myself being on the water. I can still help father and sons, go out and make a memory. My dad, who just went down to Florida with some buddies, they fished 5 different lakes. They fished 5 different lakes in Florida, and they paid a guide $600 to fish one lake. Well, Dad was like, man, instead of paying one guide $600 to fish one lake and figure this one lake out, I would have rather spent $100 on 5 different tips for those other different lakes, so I could have had success at all those lakes. And I was like, Dad, that's genius. That's exactly why we created this. And so if anyone has ever asked you, hey man, how are you catching those fish? Or or maybe you're just on the water a lot and you just know how guys are having success, man, I would encourage you. This is a great way to make some almost passive income in the fishing industry. Essentially, it's like a virtual guide. So there's nothing like this. There's a lot of people are like, that feels weird. It sounds weird, but I always tell people, dude, think about Airbnb. It was like, yeah, you are a stranger to someone, and a stranger is going to rent a room in your house. It was like, what? Or Uber was like, a stranger's going to pick you up and drive you around the city, another stranger, and they're not going to rape you and murder you. It was like, what? It's like all these things sound kind of weird in theory, right, but they work. It's a marketplace. Because here's the deal. There are fishermen that are in the know and know how to catch them, and there are fishermen that want to know how to catch them. So we've literally created a marketplace to help anglers who know how to catch them monetize their intellectual property and help these guys who want to know make a memory and maximize their time on the water. I think it's an incredible business opportunity. And I think, honestly, I just think it's a great opportunity for guys to be able to have success, whether you're going to a new lake for the first time and you've never been there before and you want to have success, or you're someone who's like, hey, I've wanted to be a guide, or I'm trying to figure out how to make it in the fishing industry. This is a great way to do it, because ultimately, dude, I could talk about this for hours. Dude, there are very, very, very few secrets left in fishing. With podcasts like this, guests that you have, other podcasts, with live stream, with all these other things, dude, you could freaking look at the background of pictures and be like, oh, I know where he is. Dude, there are very few secrets left. So what is actually the most important information? It's the most recent dialed in information. So if I, as a guide, go out and catch 20 pounds or 25 pounds with a customer on stuff that I figured out and I worked hard to fish, and someone says, hey man, how'd you catch those fish today? I can literally still increase my revenue or increase my income through fish tips and sell them how I did it and further monetize that. So ultimately, the people that I guide, they're going to tell 5 people, and those 5 people are going to tell 5 people, and those 5 people are going to, and eventually everyone's going to know my crap. I've done it for 10 years, dude. I know, I've seen it. People get on my YouTube videos and they're like, hey, I know your fishing spots. It's like you and everyone else. But guess what? From day to day, the really hot spots change. And if I'm on the water all the time, I'm able to help sell that intellectual property and sell that information to help other anglers succeed. So there's nothing like it in the industry. We're empowering entrepreneurs. We're empowering people to be able to pursue their dream of making money fishing. So I'm really excited about it. The platform's nowhere near where it's going to be, but we're working on a seller's platform, like a dashboard. Like my wife and I, we have a few Airbnbs. I can see how many people are clicking on my Airbnbs, my monthly income, all these things. We're working on a seller dashboard. We're working on a review process. We're working on, further vetting process. Like, hey, are you a professional angler, an amateur, or a professional tournament angler, an amateur tournament angler, a full-time guide, a weekend warrior, a collegiate angler, and just really getting, this process where we have people that are trusting the sellers, that like these guys are who they say they are, and they're selling good stuff. I had a guy the other day, and God bless him. He's like, well, how do I know you're not selling me crap? And I'm like, well, I have almost 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I've got 10,000, Instagram followers. I have a respectable name in my business. Why do you think I would sell you crap? I guide people 6 days a week. Why would I jeopardize my reputation and sell you crap? And so there's people with like this. Look, there's two kind of mentalities in the world, really. There's a scarcity mentality, and you think the world's out to get you and no one else can have success about you or unless it's you. Or there's the abundance mentality when it's a growth mentality, success, and everything. And a lot of people that have scarcity mentalities, they're negative Nancy's and pessimistic, and they're just honestly mostly miserable people. People who are growth abundance mentalities tend to be like, hey man, this is great opportunity and so forth. So, it's like these guys' reputations are on the line. Like, why would they sell you something stupid? Why would they sell you dog crap? And that's why we're introducing the review process further too. So.
Yeah, obviously it'd be definitely more confidence, right? Like if somebody's selling a $50 fishing tip and they've got, 30 reviews and people have given them 4.7 stars. It's like, well, I have a lot more confidence to drop that $50 or $100 than.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So we're working on that review process right now. And in fact, our product manager, Josh, he's been in contact. So far on the platform, I think we have like 6 sellers. We've had the platform on for 2 months. We're still in what I would call like really, early tech development here.
Alpha.
Yeah. We're literally infancy stages, but we already have 6 users that have made over $1,000 on the platform. It's hasn't gotten huge by any means. Some people might have seen my boy Benny Mills posted a tip up there from our 43-pound bag in Texas. He had sold it a $500 tip. So talk about people desiring to know how and where he's doing it. You can scroll Instagram, and I do this every day. I scroll Instagram, see someone holding big fish, and you know what my first thought is? I wonder how they caught it. I won't. Every fisherman wonders. And guess what? If I'm going to that lake, I might buy that tip because I want to know, like, how is he catching it? Where is he catching it? What? And right. It's like that's that. And listen, some people take pride and strong arming it and figuring them out on their own. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Do that. But I guide so many multi-millionaire businessmen that work their ass off. They do not have time to spend on the water. All these people that are honestly your naysayers are like, they should just spend time on the water. They don't have time to. They made $1 billion. Okay. They're interested in leaving a legacy for their family. Maybe they're business entrepreneurs. Maybe they're in the grind of life. They don't have time to go out and figure out a damn lake. That's why they buy.
They just bought a Vexus. They just bought an Icon. They want to go catch fish in it.
Exactly right. So these guys who are like, they just need to figure it out. I'm like, you're stupid. Keep your mouth shut. Listen, these guys don't have time to. They're business people. They have lives outside of fishing. Your life, my life, a lot of fishermen's life. Our life revolves around fishing. We make time to fish. A lot of these guys, their lives revolve around golf and business and stuff. They just have a boat, and once a month they want to go out on the boat and have success. They just want to know, hey, where should I go and what do I throw? It's that simple. And they're willing to spend $100, $200 to make that happen. Of course, they'd love to in my case, on all of our lakes, a lot of the people that have lake houses in Western North Carolina, they're like business people from Florida. They're business people from Atlanta. They're only coming up to their lake house for 3 or 4 weeks a year. They don't have time. They're not here all the time like I am. So they're just like, hey, dude, what are the fish doing? And what can I throw? You're already booked up. It's all good. I've got my own boat. And this is a way to service those people. And then guys like my dad, who he's not a hardcore tournament dude, but he loves twice a year going to Texas or Louisiana or Florida or Arkansas with some buddies to a huge lake they've never been to. And they're like, where do we start? And honestly, they're not super great anglers. But they want to go have success. And this is a way to literally, my dad is willing to pay people to tell him, hey, man, go here, go there. And you might be like, well, that's weird. Well, that's what guides do. Guides sell their waypoints. Every time they take someone to a fishing hole, they're selling a waypoint or they're selling a pattern or they're selling a secret. That's part of making money as a guide. And guess what? If you're a tournament angler like these guys on Santee Cooper, I watched Steve Kennedy today. This is a big secret. Rich, don't tell anybody. I saw Steve Kennedy on the one bridge that goes across the canal throw a big swim bait. Guess what? Everybody knows that now. It's not a secret. Like these secrets
Let's not
don't
call
exist.
a 6-inch mag draft a big swim bait, Austin.
Hey, you better stop telling secrets that are out there all over the internet. You know, it's like, but here's the deal. They might be here today, and if a guy fishes them and says, "Hey, here's some fish here," and they might be gone tomorrow. It's a part of fishing, but the most recent dialed in information is valuable to anglers that are willing to pay for it. So, anyways, you ask away. Ask any questions or give me some of your thoughts.
Yeah, there's a couple questions on the fish tip.
Austin,
Matt wants to know.
Austin, will you be able to upload tutorial videos on fish tips in the future? All right, so a couple questions here. My one would be like, are they teaching tutorials for guys to like, hey, this is how you maximize fish tips and help out? Because this is what I've noticed, dude. Okay, there's a very specific algorithm with this. If guys create a tip and then share that tip as a clickable link in their Instagram story or a Facebook post, they sell within like 2 hours. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Our data is unbelievable on that. If guys create a tip and then post it on their social media, whether it's an Instagram link or a Facebook post, they sell almost within 2 hours. It's incredible. The other thing is, you know, I would argue some of this stuff, like, I don't know about like specific technique stuff. A lot of people, you can just search YouTube, how to throw a wacky rig, how to throw a swim jig.
You got Bass University for that, right? Like,
yeah, exactly right. Bass University is a great platform that guys are already doing this. I think with this more is like highly dialed in fishing reports.
Unless maybe it was like just like a 30, 60-second video that like further explained the tip, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
like,
and we're working on that. Yeah. We're working on that to further help that kind of trust process we're trying to develop on the platform. Like, hey, you hear the guy's conviction in his voice. He's talking about how to do this. He's got the topography map showing a couple areas, and breaking it down. But yeah, we're working on those little video tutorials, just something small like that. Yeah. So questions, Austin, do your tips include baits and where to get them? Maybe a shop on the way, shop local. Man, I love that question. We haven't got there yet. Like I said, we are in like baby infancy stages of this thing. We're really just trying to nail down how smooth of a flow can we get people onboarded to become a guide, how easy it is to create a tip, how easy it is for people to purchase a tip. So eventually we want to get there. We think this has potential to be huge, and we'll see tackle shops partner with us and so forth. So what was that last comment there? I didn't see it.
He was just saying that you're a legend.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I don't think of myself much of a legend. I just really care about people succeeding in life, and I like seeing people catch their dreams. That's why I named my business Dream Catchers.
I assume that your bright green Clash sold this afternoon.
Actually, I don't know if it did or didn't. That was the Clash Joker. It's a really loud color, that chartreuse color. It's definitely unique. Listen, my Japanese brethren, they like that, dude. They like those freaking pinks and bright chartreuses, right. And I'm like, dude, I just keep it natural, keep it sweet.
But for some of those baits, like right, like some of the Clash stuff, right, that are super high demand, hard to get. Just buy it and send it to TK or your favorite painter and have them throw a nice shad pattern on it or something.
That's exactly right. Not a lot of people. I don't know. Not a lot of people think like that. You're a forward thinker.
Yeah, I did. So I did sign up just to see what it was like.
By the way, yeah, how was trust me, I'm an admin on it. I get to see like new signups and new when posts sell and everything. What'd you think of the flow and the process and everything?
It was pretty quick. I mean, I think it took me 5 minutes to sign up. You know, yeah, it includes, and probably the hardest part, or not even hard, right? The longest part was authenticating your Stripe, right? So you can get paid.
Yeah, so Stripe Stripe authenticates Airbnb, Uber, that stuff. So yeah.
So I mean, outside of that, assuming you want to get paid, if you're going to do this, right, then that probably was 3 minutes of the 5 minutes to get set up.
Yep. So we're thinking, like, I tell guys, and how long did it take you to make your tip? Maybe 5 minutes as well?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yep. So, I'm telling guys, like, if you think about this as like, man, so obviously we, as a founder of the platform, we utilize this platform like crazy. I get all of our guides daily after trips. hey, take pictures throughout the trip, whatever. Post your pictures on the trip. Talk about where you saw bait fish. Talk about where we found fish today. Talk about what baits we use. Talk about how the weather tomorrow might affect what they do, and put it up there. It takes 5 minutes. And so 5 minutes of the time, and usually we're selling our tips between, $30 and $75 or $100. We're seeing 2 or 3 tips sell a day. So that 5 minutes creates a lot of times $150 to $200 of cash flow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good return on your time investment.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and then you said best practices if you really want to move it, right? Follow it up on your socials, right? And
totally. Yeah, 100%. That's the big thing. And so I'll be 100% honest. I made one of the first tips was for Lake Jocassee, and there's a Lake Jocassee, which is above Lake Hartwell, above Lake Kiwi in South Carolina. And there was which by the way, I think a lot of losers just hang out and live on Facebook. Someone might get pissed off if I say that, but if you take it personally, it's probably because it's true. But I went on the Jocassee Facebook page, Fishing Jocassee. Everyone and their mom was always saying, hey, what's working? Where to go? There's all this clutter. So I posted a $50 tip out there. Hey, had 22 pounds today. This is how I caught them. And thankfully, a lot of people watch our YouTube channel and everything. And they were like, oh, this is awesome. Cool, man. Thanks. And we had sold a couple, boom, boom, boom. And then I had 50 people you MFer, who are you, selling tips, selling advice, selling. And I'm and then thankfully some other guys were dude, he's a guide. This is what he does. He takes people fishing. He helps people catch fish. People pay him for his knowledge, So anyways, it's dude, it's a little bit polarizing. Some people are it feels weird. Some people are it makes perfect sense. I'm just telling people this is a niche in the market. Listen to this. I'm about to drop a bomb on you. You ready? Secrets are the one thing in the industry that everybody's trying to monetize that nobody has ever monetized.
Yeah.
Secrets are the one thing that everybody has tried to monetize that no one has monetized. And really, I would argue there's no secrets. I would argue, once again, it's most recent information, those recent information. The other day, a guy had bought a tip. I said, hey, man, have you used your tip? He said, nope. He said, I won't be able to use it for a week. But he goes, what you did was help me pinpoint where a big school of fish were, and now that I know where I think, or where you told me they were on the tip, I think I know where they're going. And I was boom. And he ended up going out. Him and his dad ended up doing really well on a lake that they had never fished before. And he's like, dude, and it's little club derbies and stuff. And listen, some guys are he bought information, whatever. It's dude, do you want to talk about this? Do you know how many pros are messaging guys for recent information before tournaments?
Oh yeah. I mean,
hold on, wait. I thought the pros couldn't do that. I thought that was illegal. Yeah. I'm glad you think so, Bubba.
There's definitely a lot of them that are, let's just say, pushing the envelopes.
That's exactly right. And I'm look, screw pushing the envelope. Let's just create a platform that you just throw it out there. Instead of just beating around the bush, hey, you can't tell me about this lake, but what about the neighboring lake? What's the deal? It's you're freaking, you're either breaking the rules, you're not breaking the rules. Either way, this is a great platform for people to buy tips. That's where I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? It's
I guess the tournament people that aren't supposed to buy it, I think it would, right. I think actually paying for it and having a paper trail would be,
obviously, but I'm saying,
yeah.
Okay, other than the highest upper echelon, the Elite Series and MLF and the Opens, and maybe the Toyota Series, I don't really know. Pretty much everything else is fair game. And dudes will do anything to know how to catch fish, where to catch fish, and have a good finish.
Yeah.
So listen, that's great. So Clay says, I like the exclusivity on this. You only sell it to one guy / person. So that's what's really unique about this. We're also introducing a feature right now. We haven't really marketed this. We're not throwing it out there on everything. This is very organic. I've been messaging guys and telling guys hey, you need to be on here. It's a great way to make some supplemental income. But we're creating a feature where you can literally limit how many people buy your tip. So it's This is a great example. The other day, there was a big tournament on Lake James, which is a small lake. It's like 7,000 acres in North Carolina. But there was a big high school tournament, and a father was like, dude, I just bought a boat for my son. He's so passionate about it. I don't even know anything about it, but like, can you sell me something? I'm like, dude, I just had a guide trip out there. I found the winning school of big smallmouth, period. Like, end of story. And I said, I will sell you the tip. I said, it'll be $200. I said, I won't sell it to anybody else. He said, okay. So I created the tip through Fish Tips. I put it up there for $200. He bought it. I sent him the link. He bought it immediately. And then I inactivated it. So he bought it and got it. And then I made it inactive. His son ended up going out, never been on the lake. His son ended up finishing second out of like 150 some boats. And he texted me and said, dude, this was the best memory I've ever made with my son. And I was like, dude, that's what this is about. That's what this is about. You know, I created that one tip for that one guy, and you know, they went out and had success. And that's what it's all about, man. And, you know, like I said, there's going to be some guys that want to use it in club tournaments and whatever, dude. Like, that's their prerogative. What I'm simply saying is, there are people who want to know what's working, and there's people that actually know what's working. And we've created a platform to bring those groups together and not even make it awkward. Because guys are always asking me, they're like, hey man, you know, how's Molly doing? How's little Isaac? How's the business been? Hey, how you catching your fish? I'm like, dude, you don't give a shit about my family. You don't care. You know, you just want to know how I'm catching fish, and it's totally okay. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Here it is for $50. It's not awkward anymore. You don't have to beat around the bush and waste my time. I have 173 text messages right now. I don't want to keep replying to stupid stuff. Dude, I'm just going to create a tip. You want it? Buy it. There you go. You go my way. I go my way. You go your way. That's
Do they automatically expire at a certain point?
No, and the reason why is because I'm sure you find value too in looking at past tournament results or how guys were doing it. You know, like if you look at the date range or something. So like maybe if I create a tip for this day, maybe next year there's a guy who's like, I want to buy a $25 tip or a $50 tip, how they were catching them last year, to kind of get an idea of maybe some starting points on where to go. So, and the other thing is this, talk about the exclusivity, which was a great point. You know, when you freaking Google search fishing report for lake whatever, and it's the most generic bull crap you've ever read.
Fish points.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, great. There's 3,000 of them on the lake, you know, or it's like, yeah, the fish could be in deep water. They could be in 35 to 45 foot of water, but and then they could be in 5 foot of water. And so then by the whole time you're like, well, they narrowed it down to pretty much every cubic foot of the lake. You know, it's like, this is obviously way more dialed in than that. So, you know, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be extremely special. I think it serves a huge, Colby, I don't disagree. I totally don't disagree. But you know how many, dude, you want to know how many pros hit me up before a Bassmaster Classic on Lake Hartwell? I'm not even going to answer it.
Yeah, no, up until this year, Bassmaster Opens, you could literally be on the water with a guide like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday before the Bassmaster Open.
Yeah.
So,
guys
have been hiring guides before tournaments for a long time. So this is
that's exactly.
Am I gonna do it? Probably not. But like, I could definitely see like, hey, I'm taking a buddy trip to Grand Lake, and like, if I can get a $50 tip that's going to start us in the right direction, then that's probably something I would consider.
Think about how much time and gas you waste on a lake you don't know where to start. You're just like, it's so overwhelming, dude. I mean, I can literally remember in college going down to Lake Seminole, and by the grace of God, we found some fish and had an unbelievable finish. But I'm like, this place is like 80,000 acres, and I don't even know what to do.
It's a minefield.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, how do I navigate? Where do I start? And thankfully, I literally was like, dude, we didn't even have electronics on our boat. It was sketchy AF. But I saw this one pocket. I'm like, oh, let's go throw a rattle trap over there. And we found a mega bag of them. Just total blind ass luck. But, you know, so to Colby's point, like, dude, I understand it. It's dirty. But how many guys are you hitting up? Hey, man, what's been working? And those guys are like, I don't want to give you my secrets, or, you know, it's like this whole thing, dude. It's like everybody. Here's the deal. If people have a problem paying for it, they're probably socialists. That's how I feel. or you just, because it's like, why I'm on the water 300 times a year, 10 years, dude. I've worked my ass off to figure out the stuff that I figure out. Why do you feel the need to think you should just get my information for free? Do you know how many thousands and thousands of dollars I've spent in gas money idling?
I guess that's the thing, right? So I think whether you would do it, you think it's whatever. Basically, all you've done is created a marketplace for the stuff that's already happening under the table as it is.
That's exact, dude. You hit the nail on the head. It's like, because a couple guys and say exactly what Colby did, and I would argue, Colby, I would argue that you're projecting your perception, which isn't wrong, but you're like, a lot of people are like projecting how they feel into it, and it's like, I hear what you're saying, but this stuff's already happening. We've just created a marketplace where it can happen a little bit less or a little more seamlessly and help guys. And once again, yeah, for tournament fishing, dude, you might think it's total crap. Some other guy might think, hey man, this is a great, I've never been in the lake. This is a great way to get me pointed in the right direction. I don't have to spend 8 hours figuring out where they were and waste a practice day and $100 in fuel. This is a $50 to point me in the right direction. It saves me time, saves me money. And listen, I understand both scenarios. I don't have a problem with either scenario. So I would never hate on a guy for giving info. I'd call the guy who asked for a pussy though.
So he said it's not the guy giving the info; it's the guy asking for it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I understand it, but you know, dude, I can't. I think we've all asked buddies for info or reached out to people who we really didn't have great relationships with for some tips. You know, if you're a fisherman, you've done it before. And here's the thing: the other deal is and I can see some only tourneys. Yeah, I hear you. The other thing is you know, it's like, hey man, my buddy showed me this spot or something. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I would be that guy to monetize my buddy's spot. You know, there's obviously these like,
or you go hire Austin to take him up fishing, and then you post all the spots on fishing tips after you.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm like, that's pretty bougie, but dude, do you think that doesn't happen?
Right.
Already? You kidding me? I got on FishBrain the other day, you know, just doing like market analysis, what they're using in tip stuff. And I'm like, what the heck's all this stuff from Glenville? Dude, it's literally pictures I've taken on people's cell phones, posting my motherfucking fishing spots. Dude, I was like, what the heck kind of bull crap is this? You know, they're talking about brush piles on points, giving away my freaking information for free, dude. That's horseshit. I planted those brush piles. I freaking wake up in the middle of the night and freaking go do this crap, and guys are just posting them for free. What? Wasting, dude, countless hours and money that I've spent and fuel. And, you know, I'm like, dude, that's ridiculous. So I'm like, hey, this is obviously valuable. People value it. That's why they pay me as a guide. It needs to be monetized and not just thrown out there for the world. You know, it's just that rubbed me really wrong. If you couldn't tell just now.
Yeah.
It's crap. Western North Carolina, Austin, where are you? I'm near Boone. Yeah, bro, I'm located in Silva. Our tackle shop, Dreamcatchers Fishing Supply, is in Silva, North Carolina. We guide all the way out on Lake James, which is only like an hour 15 from Boone. And then we guide everything west and then south, upstate South Carolina, North Georgia, and even a little bit in East Tennessee. HellaBass, I would love to see Austin fish at Lake Bowen, South Carolina. It's a real freaking challenge on the lake. Heck yeah, man. I drive over it all the time on I-26 on my way to Greenville or wherever the heck else. But yeah, I'd like to fish Lake Bowen too. Every time I pass over water, I do the same thing every fisherman does. I go, ooh, there's a dock or there's a laydowner.
Look at that point. Look at that standing timber. Look at that.
That's right, dude. I'm like over here straight drooling. My
wife.
wife's
So
like,
do you do the thing where you drive through farm fields and then you imagine they're flooded? And then imagine
I do all the time, man. I literally, I'll tell you where's a great place to do it is in Nebraska where there's freaking nothing. Cause you're like, ooh, if this ever flooded, that little ditch right there would be the mother lode spot. Oh yeah.
Look at that little rock pile where the farmer picked the fields and piled them up next to that tree. Oh man.
Oh gosh, dude. I'm always that stuff as a fisherman. I think we're just wired to think like that. So that's great. Great. What glide bait do you recommend for a newbie? I would 100% start with a DRT, Tiny Clash, or a Clash 9 because it's more than just a glide bait. It's like 20 baits in one, very versatile. A lot of people are like, well, it's, you got to pay a lot for them. We actually have an order. Here, Merry Christmas to all the HellaBass listeners. We have 50 baits coming in Tuesday. We have 50 Clash 9s coming in to Dreamcatchers Fish and Supply Tuesday. You can get them at dreamcatchersfishing.com. I don't know when the drop will be. Go to our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We are always posting our updates there. And then I always tell people subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're always putting updates on our YouTube channel as well. So anyways, Merry Christmas to some
Tuesday,
HellaBass.
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Yep.
They're just going to go. So just sit there and refresh the Dreamcatchers website and follow on Instagram on
become
Tuesday.
an unproductive human. Here, or you can get on fishtips.com, buy a tip to when we're dropping. I'm kidding. I would never do that.
So you're getting both the Tiny Clash and the Clash 9s?
No, just Clash 9s on this order, and then we've got a big order. Eventually, our custom brown trout that we've worked really hard to develop is coming in. Dude, they are a little factory like in Japan, and there's quite a few companies that have custom colors and stuff. So they're working hard trying to get them. I ain't hating on them. I want to get my baits.
What does a Clash 9 go for on Dreamcatchers?
$130 is what they retail for. Clash 9
shipping for $130?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish the margins were better in the products, honestly. I got a really good friend. He works at Lowe's, and he's like, what kind of margins do you guys operate with in the fishing industry? And I'm like, it's pretty rough, dude. It's like, I don't know, 30% most of the time. And he's like, how do you guys stay in business? I'm like, I don't know. That's a great question. And I was like, what is it at Lowe's? And he's like, yeah, most of our margins are like 80%, between 65 and 80%. And I just wanted to freaking punch myself in the nuts. Like that must be really nice.
The best way to make a small fortune in fishing is to start with a bigger fortune.
That's exactly. I saw that. It's like how to become a millionaire fishing. Start with like $10 million.
But yeah, to the point, like that is MSRP, right? For the Clash.
Yeah, that's MSRP. $130 is MSRP on a Clash 9, and then I think it's $90 or $95 on a Tiny Clash. But this is the thing that I like about it. I think we talked about it before. I call it PPA, price per action.
On eBay, you're probably going to pay $300 for it.
Yeah, you're going to probably pay closer to. I'd say closer to $200. But yeah. On some rare colors, you might pay $300. But and I'm not. There's some colors I'm willing to pay some pretty exorbitant amounts of money for just because certain situations like we do. I'm about to tell you a secret. We do have some K9 colors coming in Queen, which is like it's like a pearl with like an undertone of chartreuse. It's the most visible thing in muddy water I've ever seen. And they are very rare. So we're going to have them for $130. And you could hypothetically buy a couple of those baits and probably flip them for, I've seen them go, they're still going for as high as $280, $300 for that color. So we'll have, I think we have 8 or 10 of them coming in. So anyways, well, we always hold like 10 to 15 for locals. And then we put the rest up on the website.
So like 10 of them will go up on the store shelves.
Yeah. And usually they don't last very long, obviously. There's guys when I tell people, yeah, I've got them coming in like specifically for the locals. There are people that drive from hella far to freaking come and get them. They're like,
will there be people sleeping in front of the store when you get there on Tuesday?
Don't know if that'll be happening because
don't give them any ideas.
Well, listen, we're not far from the hood in Silva, where our store is. So we have had people sleeping outside our store, but mostly not because they're waiting for baits, mostly because they're coming off a sweet meth binge. Don't flip them, fish them. I agree. I did just a Q&A the other night on the Dreamcatchers channel, and people were asking me how I felt about flipper baits. And I'm like, I don't really care about them because I'm a capitalist. I understand supply and demand, but I do think baits were meant to be fished. I can't stand the guys that reach out to me for like a rare bait, like a Hinkle, and they're like, hey, you want to sell it? And I'm like, not really, no, or then I'm like, all right, I will sell it for, $600. They're like, that's preposterous. And I'm like, unpainted blanks are going for $900 on eBay right now. I'm like, I just made you an offer that's $300 less the blank price. You still got to go pay $100 to paint the thing once you buy the blank. I'm like, I just made you a $300 off special and you're still complaining. Like, you're probably going to, like I said, I don't rub these on my genitalia. I fish with them. So they do get hook rash. They get tooth rash. I got one. Oh, I got more than one. I've got lots of baits that just look like sandpapers, just hit the top of them and the base of them. It's sick.
Nice.
Just straight up from teeth. Give me some more cues. They got more cues down there.
They had some cues.
They're questioned out. They're like, we're done. Dude, I'm running a freaking ultra marathon tomorrow.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
I probably got to get some sleep. I just figured it's already going to suck. Might as well double team how sucky it is. I just scored an original Chad Shad a couple days ago. Can't wait to see. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Like I said, I don't care, man. It's your life. Do what you want to do with it.
I actually I bought 2 trick shads at the Classic.
Do it, man. That's freaking sick.
And I resold one to Brendan on here, and I made like $3 on it with shipping.
Dude,
I sold it to him.
Air nuts. Give me some air nuts.
I sold it to him basically at the same price, just to help a buddy out.
That's a good friend.
It did enter my mind to flip that second bull shed and pay for half of my other bull shed, but I didn't.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, dude, it is what it is. Austin, have you messed with the Flag 255 much? I'm loving it for fishing very fast to cover lots of water. Dude, I have seen it. The action on the bait is absolutely incredible. I'm going to tell you something, and you might be like, oh, I didn't think about that, because this is, once again, a thing you think about as an entrepreneur in the industry. I don't fish baits that I can't sell. That's just how I feel. This might sound douchey, or I don't really care what you think about it, but for me, we don't have a huge platform. Like I said, we have like 8,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, but there's 100% value created when I post lots of cast to catch footage for certain baits. And if I can't get paid either by that company for promoting the bait or retail the bait, there's no need for me to throw it. So heck yeah. Freaking, I'm not very far from Gatlinburg at all. I was going to say 100 minutes, but I'm not 100 minutes. I'm like 60 minutes. I'm about an hour, 15 minutes away from Gatlinburg. So, but did that make sense? Why I don't fish?
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time too.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Because I want to use tons of baits, dude. There's a lot of baits that I really want to use, and for whatever reason, they won't sell to retailers, or like, dude, I had one guy. I'll tell you. I'll answer that question here in a second on the Spro Chad versus OG. But I had one guy that I reached out to, like, dude, I have so much cast to catch footage on your baits. I want to post it on the YouTube channel. I'm not posting it until I can retail your baits. And he said, nope, I don't want to sell to anyone but Tackle Warehouse. And I just sent him the middle finger emoji. No, I'm kidding. I didn't send him the middle finger emoji. I just said, that's pretty crummy, dude. And anyway, so I took all those files and simply just deleted them and had zero problem doing it. So, so anyways, Pro Chad versus OG. I would say that they are almost identical as far as rigidity or how strong and tough they are. I think you're going to be actually pretty surprised that the Spros are really, really strong, those ABS, where those OGs, they're that resin material. They're meant to be dented and beat up a little bit, but if you hit them really hard, they might break. Ultimately, any swim bait you throw really hard. I had a guy one time throw an S-Waver off of a dam wall and want me to warranty it through the store. I'm like, are you on drugs? This would be like me driving off the car lot, getting in an accident and wanting them to warranty my car accident. Like, anyways, so they run very similarly. I know both of them are very true running. They have very similar actions. So anyways, I have no opinion over one or the other as far as better or anything. I've seen their action.
The mass-produced one passes the smell test in your eyes. Is that? I guess that's the.
Yeah. And I don't think he would have let a bait go out that didn't match something extremely close to what he put out as far as quality. I know once again, as a businessman in the industry, if I'm tying my name to it, I'd want it to be pretty damn good. And listen, they're pretty good. We had a guy walk in today. He had 3 or 4 of them. And we went down to the river behind the shop, and I was like, those look good.
Do you have either of the Chad Shads in your shop, or do you ever?
No, I've never reached out to them about selling them. I'm going to try to get some
should be able to get the new ones, right? You should be able. I mean, wow.
I should be able to get the new ones, but all of my distributors, it's like they come in stock and they freaking go like that.
They're pretty hard to come by, even those for sure. Yeah. You sell bull shad?
Yeah, we sell bull shads. Love bull shads.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, Mike's a good dude.
Love Mike. Mike's done seminars in my store before, man. Mike and I, dude, I've known Mike for a long time. I mean, literally, I've had my tackle shop for 7 years, but he was a part of the Southern Trout Eater guys. Just as they were finishing the production of Southern Trout Eaters, I was starting my guide business in Western North Carolina. So I got to link up with a lot of those guys at a super early stage. So I've known Mike literally, dude, for like a decade. So he's a stud. Awesome. I love him.
So you got to hi to him at the Classic, I assume, then?
Say that one more time.
You said hi to him at the Classic, then, I assume?
Oh, I hung out with him for like an hour, dude. I had a good time cutting up with the guys that he had working the booth, too. So it was
Hunter
good.
And, yeah.
The other fellow from Maine, I can't think of his name, but he's a big bass catcher from up north.
Nice.
Yeah. Austin, do you think live scope can make an average swim bait angler learn 10 times faster than they would without live scope or just traditional 2D sonar? The answer is 100% yes. Think about if you're getting reps and you're only getting you're only seeing followers that you can see with your polarized glasses. Okay, now amplify the number of followers you're getting times about 500, maybe not 500, but legitimately probably like multiply it by 10. It would blow you away how many followers you get on a day-to-day basis with your glide bait. So with forward facing sonar. So 100%.
And just even understanding when you think it's 2 feet down, or you think it's 4 feet down, but it's only 2 feet down, or right? Like you just. Yeah, and then you can see what the fish respond to what speeds, and like even it's not just swim baits, so either it's jerk baits, it's chatter baits, right? Like you think you're slow rolling a chatter bait, and you think it's 8 feet down, and then you see it's 3 feet down on your sonar, and you're like, well, I guess I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, totally. So, and then the other thing is just reading their body language.
Right?
That's so huge with swim baiting. I mean, you've got to be able to tell immediately, because here's the thing: I'm not super big like fish are like they get like accustomed to a certain action or whatever. But I do believe, like you can tell immediately if the fish is just going to follow it and you're going to ruin them or not. Like, dude, a lot of times if you're throwing a glide bait on forward facing and you see those fish sprint to it, or any bait for that matter, sprint to it, you're about to get clobbered. If they're about to just slowly follow it, you might actually want to just burn it up as fast as you can and present a different bait to see if they come at it at a faster pace. And then the other thing would be if they kind of come at it at like a mid speed, sometimes you can turn those fish into eaters. So, but I always do that. I call it the do or die. And that's like when I'm reeling it and I go quack, quack, and really make that where it might be gliding like this. And I go quack, quack, and speed it up where it's like a shad trying to get the hell up out of dodge, and you're trying to get that reaction strike or not. So,
fight or flight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're either going to freaking smash it, or they're like, whoa, that thing's.
And you can know when you're going to know more often when your fish or your bait is actually around fish, right? Like,
yeah, 100%.
You're constantly A/B testing, and even Ben talks about it, and he shows in his videos. Like he even talked to Matt on BTL, right? He's like, well, how do you know? It's like it takes. I think Matt asked him, like, how do you know if they're eating the boot tail, like, or the mag draft or the glide that day? He's like, well, it takes me 2 casts, one with each, and I see how the fish react, and then
yeah. Yeah, it's literally that simple. Definitely not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. You get any big smallies down your way on swim baits?
Bro, one of the last videos I put up, I was using a line through with my son. We caught one smallmouth that was almost 5 pounds, another one that was 3.5, and absolutely smash them on big swim baits, dude. And then last year in one trip, I had 3 smallmouth that were over 21 inches on a Clash 9.
Nice.
Now, when I say that, some of you northern Midwesterners are like, oh my God, he had 3 21-inch smallmouth. You think these are like 7-pounders?
3.5 pounds.
Yeah, they're like 3.5 pounds. They're like little torpedoes in our lakes because all I do is chase herring. They're like freaking anorexic. They look like they smoke copious amounts of meth.
Yeah. Actually, about 10 years ago, fishing Escanaba, which is Lake Michigan
Familiar.
regional tournament, and in practice, I was throwing that old Optimum when the Optimum line through was like before it was the Boom Boom line through, like when it first came out. I actually in practice caught some really good fish, and then they all turned into followers in the tournament. And 10 years ago, I had no concept of like I just kept throwing it and watching them following it, and I just should have switched to a jerk bait or.
Of course.
Something, right? Like I should have switched up instead of just watching them bump it and follow it and not eat it or trade colors or something. But like, it definitely.
That's one of those deals that I talk about stiff arming. A lot of guys, you just got to know when to put the stupid sumbitch down and try something else.
This is a t-shirt or a sticker that needs to be made right here. I'm writing this down.
Oh, man. Love it. That's getting tatted on my chest.
That's your forehead tattoo.
Yeah, dude. Or maybe it'll be like a Post Malone tat. It'll be like small meth.
There you go.
Yeah, bro. I'm committed, bro. I like face tats. I'm down for it.
That's a good question. Do glides make those sound, or do they make sounds, or do they make those sounds? I don't know.
What kind of sounds are you referring to? Like this sound like? No, they don't make that sound. But
no, the hinge on my trick glide has a very squeaky sound to it. It almost sounds like a.
Yeah, and then the Hinkles when the hooks hit the side of the bait, there's definitely some ting ting clang clang. And Ben and I actually talked about how we think that's definitely a negative feature of hard swim baits. I so wish if somebody wants to make a game changing swim bait, I'm about to tell you, create a Hinkle Shad of sorts that has
with a rubber booted skin on the bottom.
Yes, or just something to dull that sound, because that I think it does affect the fish. I mean, if they're really fired up, they'll eat it. But if you can freaking quiet that bait down, or any glide bait down for that matter, I think it's really special. And listen, I think there's times when they're really aggressive where that hard. Because listen, when they hit things or suck things in, their mouths are bone. So like there's that noise. I'm 100% sure they make that noise when they eat things or blow up or anything. There's a real sharp knock, but still, I think when you're chasing giant bass, you need the more natural, the better. So, yeah, so sometimes the squeak is the juice. I would agree with that. How could you keep those glide baits quiet or frosting? You dip them. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I just signed a monster deal with Trojan Condoms. You freaking you just roll the latex right over there, and then
so you take the hooks off.
No, keep the hooks on. That's the secret.
Oh, to keep them bagged up.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want it to leak, right? You don't want to have one slip through, so you got to have them under, right, or over the hooks.
Yeah, but I will say this: if you use a heavier hook, and even so, if you use a heavier hook or even a thicker gauge hook, because it's thicker gauge,
as much.
It doesn't swing as much, and then the sound that it makes is more dull. Where the thinner the hook, it's more that ting 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 ting
tinny.
Yes, that's exactly right. So you can actually use a thicker gauge hook. Which, dude, I'll tell you this: Oliver absolutely hated on me because I love the ST41 cut points, the black nickels. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, but couldn't you just put some? I'm just trying to think. Like, could you have like a little, like almost like a little silicone sleeve that goes over there that creates a little bumper just to keep it from like?
I'm telling you, the silicone sleeve's the Trojan, bro.
So you don't need to cover the whole bait though. You just need like that joint enough to keep it from like not wanting to slam into the. I don't know. Yeah,
like I said, my big thing is. I have noticed there's those ST41s are great. Oh, which by the way, you know what bait is really quiet is a Depths 250 for this exact reason.
I've heard that one's decent.
Which is another reason why I think a Depths 175 and a Depths 250 gets I mean, dude, that's like an iconic glide bait, and why it's so good and why it catches so many big fish. It has that silicone skin on it that's like, I mean, it is like a condom's on it. And then, I mean, when the hooks hit the side of the bait, you can't hear crap. So something to think about, but
Right on.
natural, baby. I like them natural. Just like I like my women, hairy. You know what I'm saying? All natural. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's terrible. Now, if you are a hairy woman out there, I apologize. Listening to this.
More importantly, John wants to know if you knew Jeremy Pratt when he lived by you.
Jeremy Pratt is kind of a gypsy, so he randomly kind of lives by me now every once in a while. He's married now, but no, what I literally mean, Jeremy Pratt is like a gypsy. He's just kind of here and there and everywhere. He lives in Minnesota, I think, right? He's up your way now. You don't know who Jeremy Pratt is?
I mean, I know who he is. Oh, you don't know? Yeah. Okay, sorry, I was.
He
actually just reposted a video on Facebook of where he believes that he caught and released the state record Minnesota smallmouth.
Oh, really? Dude, he catches
a scale.
Fish. He's a big fish dude. But no, Jeremy's never lived really close to me. He's spent like 2 months down here a couple years ago and lived on my buddy's couch, and we hung out every day at the tackle shop and went fishing a couple times together. He caught a dang giant on a Edo shiner with me out of Lake Glenville. You can find that on the YouTube channel. He like a 7.5 pounder, which on Lake Glenville is a freakzilla. What's up,
awesome
Ben?
To see that Ben has the time to haze you, and he's not too busy.
Oh, dude, Froston's my freaking name, bro, because I'm sweet and white. I go on top of the cupcakes.
I did DM you a long time ago or a while ago, Ben, in your Instagram, which you probably get way too many, to invite you on sometime, but you probably didn't see it. So,
dude, listen, that guy is so busy. I'm actually, I can talk some crap about him because he's a buddy of mine, but he needs a business manager in a serious ass way. I'm ready to drop everything I'm doing and either be his business manager or refer a business manager to him, because Cole is full-time video editing. Ben is full-time video creating. Here's the thing. You kind of operate at what you're good at, and Ben is unbelievable. He's very business oriented, but he is such a creative thinker, dude. It's amazing spending time around him. But the reality is I'm like, dude, he is maxed out with his time, so he needs a day.
That's why I'm surprised that and it actually did. I pulled up the channel and actually clicked on it, and it actually is. It's not because, like, people can come in here and like just change their names, but that actually is
freaking dude. Denzel's like a slithery little snake sleeking around like a possum, bro. He's honestly, he's probably multitasking. If I had to guess, dude, ready? I'm gonna guess. He'll have to comment if this is what he's doing. He's probably got a beer in one hand. He's probably piddling around with tackle, probably busting on Cole about getting some footage edited. And then he's in and out of this stream we're doing all simultaneously. I nailed it. You don't even have to comment. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Cole's probably
for Bugs Island at the same time.
I'm telling you, it's probably what he's doing. Cole's probably got a syringe with 7 cc's of whatever ghost energy flavors up in that syringe, and he's just like straight bugged out, eyes red.
Ghost energy with what's the whiskey that the Buffalo or whatever he's got his special Milliken whiskey with energy drinks, so he can relax and stay active at the same time and get all this stuff done and watch the NFL draft.
Look, Ben's literally has a beer. I just nailed Cole just texted me that just now.
Nice.
That's freaking hilarious. Oh my goodness. That's too much, man. Well, dude, hey, it's 11 my
That's
time.
Cool. You know what? And I actually got some baits that I wanted to get to, so we'll keep hanging out and we'll show off some baits. I appreciate your time, Austin.
Cool. Yeah, man.
This was fun. Good having you back on. We got to pay off on the teas from 2-3 months ago. So
hey, thanks for the love, Shane. And yeah, man, like I said, I'd love to see guys. I obviously saw you on it. Rich. And I think there's a lot of guys that can provide an excellent service to guys that are desiring to have more success and maximize their time on the water, make memories with their friends and with their kids and, you know, whoever. So, you know, if you know guys that are sellers, would love to see them on there. And yeah. So anyways, I think it's awesome, but I appreciate it, dude. I'm going to go get some rest because I've got to go run like 8 miles tomorrow. So
good to see that you're in self-abuse and have a good time.
Thanks, brethren.
All right. We'll
appreciate you,
keep
buddy.
talking some baits. Take it easy, Austin.
All right. See ya.
Well, that was cool. And that was the MFer. I checked it out. Legit. So, but I do have some stuff. I got some mail from one of the Visor gang here. I think there are actually some stuff we can give away in here. And then I got some stuff from AJ that I purchased off his site. So we got just going to pop this open here. This is actually kind of something interesting if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. And this is from Curly's Lures, West Point, Utah. The old Arsenal scissors slice into this. I feel sad that I missed out on TK's Patreon stream. I'm gonna have to. But Curly's Lures, Max Plastics. He messaged me. Pick 2 winners and I'll mail them out. All right. So Colby is offered to make some of these up. I don't think he said he wasn't trying to get rich off these, but he kind of made his own version of the fuzzy dice here, a little sampler pack. If you guys aren't familiar with, I forget what it's like Fuji. I don't know. I'm blanking on his name. He's the rookie finesse guy. He was drop shotting these, I think, on Seminole, catching them. Was it Fujita? And these are he was catching them on drop shotting on this. It almost reminds me of like trout bait. So there's a couple different colors in there. Kind of methyolate, and then kind of like a pumpkin chartreuse here. Yeah, it's Fujita. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his first name. We'll just so we got these. If anybody's interested in getting some, I don't know. Did you intend to put a hook in here? I see what you did here. Is that actually how you do it? You're supposed to put on a little screw lock like that and not actually go through the plastic? I guess I haven't really studied the fuzzy dice yet, because this one you actually got a screw lock, and I don't know if you can see that, but you've actually got little clear bait keepers on the hook to keep it pinned. AJ, we're about to tap into some AJ baits here as well. Have I missed the giveaway yet, AJ? The campers. Just an idea. Okay. So that's another take on it. So, we got some pumpkin too. Pretty cool. I actually saw these a long time ago and thought they looked stupid, and then obviously so we'll give one away right now. Winner. So we'll do a little StreamYard action. And then we'll do another one after we look at AJ's baits here. Bear with me. All right. Most people are going right through the plastic, but they would definitely last longer with a screw lock. Agreed. Okay. And we are going live tomorrow night, members only. So members, tomorrow night we're doing a watch party. If anybody's interested in hanging out during the watch party and watching some old Bassmasters and commenting with me, let me know. Shoot me a message, and we can have you on to join me. Hashtag Colby. We'll get the first one, then we'll look at some of AJ's baits here while that runs, and then we'll do another one. So yeah, if anybody's interested, if AJ wants to return, if you're not busy tomorrow night, AJ, you can come back on. Otherwise, if somebody else wants to step up to the plate, we're going to watch some old Bassmasters tomorrow, Friday night. I owe you guys a member stream. Actually, you know what, Colby? I'm going to save one of these for tomorrow night. So we're going to do one drawing tonight, and then we'll give another set of dice on the member stream tomorrow night. Executive decision. So there you go. I'll probably find something else to give away because we've been negligent on the member stream. So yeah, I did invite TK, but he was busy. He was interested, but so we'll definitely do it with TK sometime, Matt, but not tomorrow night. What's hook sets are free? What's going on? Are you streaming this week? So I got some paper. I like how AJ recycled an Omnia box and returned it to the homeland. So we've got coming home. We got some stickers in here. Got a horseshoe. It's like a really thick. Is that a magnet? Oh, look at that. We got a magnet. Getting fancy, AJ. This Horseshoe Customs magnet. Stick it to the... I don't have any metal back here, though. It'd be kind of nice to just... I'm going to put that right there. It's always thinking about you, AJ. And then we got a little sticker here. A little updated one. Horseshoe Tackle. Very cool. And AJ helped me with a sticker that I have now ordered stickers. Not quite merch, but we've got stickers coming. So at least when I do giveaways, beer fridge decor, AJ says. But AJ says he can probably come on. So, all right. We can do more, too, if other people want to come on. But and then I ordered stickers. So part of the reason as kind of payment and saying thanks for AJ helping me out with the first logo file, I've got HellaBass stickers coming out. So hopefully those will start rolling in and give some away. And when people win giveaways, I can throw a sticker in. I don't know if I'm going to sell them or not, but at least get some out. So, all right. So I grabbed some of AJ's plug knockers. So since I've been buying more expensive baits, I figured, and I'm too lazy to actually have like a hound dog or anything like that in the boat, I'll keep these plug knockers in the boat that clip on to hopefully save some bait. So hopefully these are, I forget, like these are like a couple bucks. Pay for themselves if I can save one bait, basically. I'm working on it. We're getting closer to merch, stickers. They're coming, Daniel. Yeah, well, he smacked them at Santee, so we'll see if he did it at Murray, and then so we'll see if he can back it up this time. Mr. Robertson. And then I ordered some of these shaky heads because I wanted to try these out because I have used shaky heads like this for stupid tubes, and I have some AJ stupid tubes, but I wanted to try some of these. I think these are the 3/16 ounce shaky heads. So grab some of these, experiment as an alternative for kind of more of a heavier style stupid tube. Grab some of those. I guess I got 2 packs of those, or I bought I bought 2 packs of those shaky heads. $4 for 2 on the plug knockers. So literally you get 2 plug knockers. So even if you like save one decent bait, 50% of the time you pay for these. So, all right. 31 people in on the Colby drawing. Is that it? All the people that are interested in fuzzy dice are basically 130 you on. So if you want a chance at some fuzzy dice, last call. Hashtag Colby. Sean's in. Sean, never shy. You probably already have like the real thing, Sean, don't you? You want to probably compare them to the real deal. Taylor got in. Oh boy, Taylor. Let's see. We got some custom painted baits here. So I ordered a couple of DT10s in kind of a, I forget what you called these. I should have this. I don't remember, AJ. What are these called? They're definitely not blueback herring like it says on the box. Pull up the email. Chartreuse root beer. See, I knew AJ actually had Sean had the real fuzzy dice. You can compare them. No, so these are Chartreuse root beer, DT10s. So actual DT10s repainted with some horseshoe custom. So I need some more DT10s in my life. Got that nice, I can't, kind of washing out here. I might have to turn this down a little bit here. See that orange underbelly there. Kind of hard to see. It's not coming through that great. Bass Malone says great color. I think there's more on the website at Horseshoe Customs. I can probably throw that link up there for people. Anybody sees anything they absolutely have to have. You're happy that AJ got me going on stickers, then you can buy I don't remember what your sticker concept was. It escapes me, Rich. All right, what else? Let's just do the drawing here while we're. All right, 35 people. Colby says great looking paint job, AJ. All right, let's get somebody some fuzzy dice here. Top Toad. I feel like you may have won in the past. Send me an email at contact@richlinger.com or send me a DM at HellaBass on Instagram or a Facebook message, Top Toad, and you will get, I'll pass your information on to Colby, and he can send you some dice. And then we'll do another drawing tonight or tomorrow night on the members live, and some of the members will get a crack at the fuzzy dice as well. Congrats, Top Toad. All right, what else we got crankbaits here? I think, let's see what here. I grabbed some more. I got a bunch of DT6s here. So here's what used to be Caribbean Shad repainted to Texas Tomato. I kind of like this because I feel like our waters are pretty clear. So I don't really love throwing like a true demon. First time winner, Top Toad. Well, congratulations. So this is, and this is a little bit more. I mean, it's definitely crawdad orange, a little more muted, just a good looking color. I need more DT6s are probably the bait that I've caught the most. I mean, from a crankbait standpoint, my best producing crankbait up here in at least Minnesota is the DT6. Even when I went down to Gunnersville, it was really good. So grabbed a couple of these. A little bit more of definitely a springtime, fall time color, but not super in your face bright. So that's kind of why I picked up a couple of these Texas tomatoes. So Top Toad, get a hold of me. Got a couple of those. Well, Top Toad's a member, so you can tune in tomorrow night and sweep the deal. All right, what else did I got? I got these two. I want to make sure I get. I think it's. All right. Save that one for last. I love how you try to like work really hard to keep the packaging intact, and they're just falling apart because they've been opened, AJ. And then we got Hot Mustard Craw DT6. I've always been a fan of the original Hot Mustard. That's more of a kind of a bluegill Hot Mustard color. Done really well on that and the Parrot. So I feel like this was a natural extension of something I needed in my box. And AJ's known for his craws. So if you like craws, you should check out AJ's paints. I like how this one definitely has that kind of like three-dimensional look to it. Like it looks like the paint job has depth. So he did a really good job with shading where it looks like there's actually like a ledge to under the shell of that craw on that belly. That's good work, AJ. That one is the Hot Mustard Craw. That one definitely is going to get bit up here. Used to be Caribbean Shad. No longer. Rip Ike's Caribbean Shad. There you go. Hella design. Yeah. And the last one, couldn't resist. More former known as Caribbean Shads. These are the Nebraska craw. So the Nebraska craw. Look at that spiciness. Like, I like this one because you definitely could pass as a bluegill and definitely pass as a craw. A lot of good stuff happening there on the old. I want to try out this. What does my other camera look like? I played around with another camera. Yeah, I just don't feel like this one doesn't look as good. Maybe it's a little more natural, but like the colors are less bright, but maybe it's more accurate. I feel like I like the other camera better. Yeah. Rob's a big fan of the Nebraska craw. Or Ron, sorry. Yeah, almost like a blue crab for you coastal folks. Daniel says they look better than they look on the website. We could pull up the website here. See what they look like on the website. Where'd I go? I think I must have bought. So where'd I went? I went hard baits. I thought there was a place where I just clicked on DT6s or DT10s. Yeah, here's where I went. There's the Nebraska craw, Texas tomato. Oh, sold out. You can get some Nebraska craws. Still get some. So, all right, Top Toad. I think I see your address just came in, so you should be good. Yeah. AJ does have some skills. Grizzly Shad says the Sub-Zero craw is legit. Yeah, the DT10s, the first ones I showed, are actually on sale for $12. I mean, like that. I mean, depending on where you buy them, that's almost retail. That's all right, Travis. Welcome back. Still a bunch of stuff on clearance. So, hey, check out AJ's site. Help a fellow Visor Gang member out if you're interested. If you want some cool crankbaits. Definitely we'll be fishing these. These won't be just visual pieces. These will be water tested hopefully soon. What else is going on here? Got a bunch of baits. I might even send you, if you maybe leave a comment and tell them you're part of the Visor Gang, maybe he'll throw you some stickers in your box. Yeah, and they're legit. They're not KOs. They're actually balsa Rapala. They're not just like plastic knockoffs. That's right. So members live tomorrow night. Reminder that I will be out at Lake Minnetonka for those that came in late. So Saturday fundraiser. I'll have links down in the description to that. I will be at Lake Minnetonka 10 to 3 on Sunday. If you want to hop in the CX20, you can call the number on the InTune website. Check out my boat. Go for a ride on Lake Minnetonka. If you're anywhere near Lake Minnetonka where it's an easy drive for you, it'd be awesome to see some of you guys. Co-ride for some boats. See Sobe. See a few other people. Lots of cool boats. Just a reminder that still time to sign up. Come say hi. And actually, we might be doing a live stream in the morning from Lord Fletcher. So also watch the YouTube channel if you want to watch that. You definitely do suck less tonight, Top Toad. Taylor, I spent a little bit of time looking for smallies. It was pretty windy the day I went. I got frustrated by the wind and the cold. It was the wind really wasn't too windy to fish, but it was kind of annoying. And then just being that it was 35-degree air temps, it wasn't super comfortable to battle out there. So I ended up retreating and catching some largemouth that day. But I did poke around some of the West Okoboji rocks for a little bit, but it didn't catch any. First time ever to the lake, so I was kind of learning and checking things out. But definitely a cool looking lake, and definitely won't be the last time. I made a long day trip to the Boji, so that was cool. What else? I feel like that's most everything. Is TK done? Or is he still can we still catch the end of the TK stream? Well, good luck if you go out, Taylor. Pre-fishing for Derby on Big Stone. Is it done flooding, Chase? Because I heard it was flooding bad. Has it come back to normal? Good night, Critical Gravy. Yeah, we'll probably wrap things up. We're right at 2 hours here. So probably going to call it a night and see a lot of you tomorrow night. So if you're interested, want to be part of the Visor gang, you can join the membership and come hang out tomorrow night for a bonus stream, and we'll give away some more stuff. So volunteer, no way. Good to know. So now I got options if I want to go to Boji or Big Stone the next time I get some time to go out. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. No stream next week. Most likely. I got a work trip. I'm actually presenting at a conference for work next week. So probably not a stream next week. If it is, it will be later in the week, like Thursday or Friday. But if you guys came in late, catch the replay. As always, here to help you guys catch more big bass. Suck less.